Hello and welcome to the Strong, Healthy, Happy podcast. My name is Debra. I'm pleased to be here today. And today is a type of podcast that I haven't done for quite some time, definitely before Christmas. And it is a response to my coaching community, particularly and mostly from the women on my 8 weeks of one-to-one group coaching. Or it's not group coaching, it's one-to-one coaching, but they all start and finish at the same time. And it comes under my coaching method called the Feel Great, Lose Weight method. And I've been very successful with it. Women have really improved the way they felt. They're losing weight. They've incorporated healthy habits. They're starting to exercise. And a couple of the ladies on this round have been on previous rounds because they love it so much and haven't finished working towards the goal that they set. And being part of the coaching community and having coaching from me definitely adds to your life, and improves the quality and happiness and health and mental well-being, which is why clients, ladies, keep coming back, which is brilliant. I absolutely love to coach and help women and to can help them get closer to the goal that they have. You know, it's not a quick fix. It's not a fad diet. And the coaching that I give them is to really create long-term habits that support their goal and their health long-term. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, why do I need to listen about women on your coaching program? I have my own goals and my own challenges. And that is exactly why you should stay tuned in, because a lot of the wins that my client have may resonate with you. And a lot of the struggles and challenges my clients face may also resonate with you. And the tips and advice I'm going to share with you on this podcast episode, and I'm going to be doing these every other week, because on the alternate weeks, my clients get one-to-one check-ins from me personally, delivered directly to them. So this podcast will be every other week, but you definitely want to be tuning in, because it's going to support you in your own endeavors and overcoming challenges and some great helpful tips. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to this podcast, please hit that subscribe button or the follow button. And please don't forget to share me in your WhatsApp chat groups with the podcast link. If you're benefiting from this podcast, so will your friends. And my goal is to help and reach as many women through this podcast. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer on my podcast, please do contact me. All my details are in the show notes, and you can send me a message, send me an email, contact me via social media, and I will answer your question. Or if it's a topic that you want me to discuss that I haven't yet covered, please do let me know. I want to help as much as I can. Now, we're going to start with client wins. And Michelle has got back into the gym. She's enjoying her structured workouts, and she completed all 3 this week. She has not, prior to coaching, was a bit hit and miss with her workouts. So it's great that she's back into the gym environment and moving her body, stimulating muscle, and getting all 3 workouts in. So well done. She's also been paying more attention to her planning and preparing her meals ahead of time. She is vegetarian, so she whether you're vegetarian or not, by the way, the more you can plan ahead and prepare ahead. It may take time to plan and prepare, but actually in the long time, you will actually save time. And this week, Michelle has been on a cooking frenzy. She's made 4 portions of ratatouille, which is a great way to get the veg in. She's made corn sausage wraps for lunch and has made enough for a good few days. She's made breakfast protein pancakes. She's made batches of overnight oats. And what this does is it It allows her to pre-plan her days in advance, knowing what food she has available, and also takes a lot of the thinking and the decision making every day of what am I going to eat? What am I going to have? She knows what she's going to have. She's pre-tracked it, she's pre-planned it, and she's already pre-made it. And so it's much, much easier to stick and adhere to your goals when you plan ahead and pre-track. Now, not all my clients track their calories. This particular client is, and she's pre-tracked all her entries, which is really, really a beneficial thing to do. And the reason why it's beneficial is pre-tracking ahead. And even if you don't track, bit of paper and a pen, write out what it is that you're going to eat the following day. And what it is you are writing yourself a meal plan based on the foods that you've cooked or the foods that you enjoy or the foods that you know you have available. And then all you have to do is roll out the plan the following day and stick to it. And it will help with your adherence. It helps with reducing decision fatigue. A lot of dieting, why diets fail, is there's so many decisions to make and so many things going around in your head. We want to quieten all that noise and just make that plan, have repetitive meals, and it really, really does reduce that thinking and decision making. And following your own meal plan is a great way to stick to the plan that you've made so that you can progress towards the goal that you have. The other really big win about Michelle pre-planning and preparing her meals is, and she says she's really, when she looks at the day ahead and sees what she's got planned, she's really looking forward to that day and eating the food that she has prepared. And this is a really important message to take home, because when you have a weight loss goal, your food choices don't necessarily need to change from the foods that you are already enjoying day to day. Because if you switch to what you perceive as, in inverted, in air quotes, diet food, it is not you eating the foods that you usually eat, and therefore see yourself doing it long term. The food choices can be the same. What does need to be changed is just clever tweaking of your portion sizes and keeping an eye on the amount of carbs and fats. Not because they're bad, but because they're easy to reduce and you won't particularly notice, because you're going to be increasing your lean protein source and your veg, and your plate will still be full of food, but you've reduced the calories. Even if you're not tracking, by reducing carbs and fats, you're reducing your calories, you're increasing protein, you're increasing veg. The likelihood is the calories are going to be reduced, and you're looking forward to eating the meal that you have pre-prepared. It excites you, and this is what you want. You don't want bland carrot sticks and a cracker and a dollop of hummus, which contains no protein, very little protein, and doesn't keep you full or satisfied. So it's really important to eat food that you enjoy, but think about what you can do within that meal to improve the quality, increase the protein, increase the fiber, and reduce the calories. Vicky has had a very busy week at work, but she still managed to get 2 netball games in. She plays netball. And I also want to say that it's a really big win for Vicky, because when Vicky was on my previous coaching program prior to Christmas, she spent a number of weeks injured and was unable to play netball. So it's great to hear that she's back at netball and got 2 games in this week. Another client is really enjoying her workouts. She's specified workout 3 is very enjoyable. She has lots of new exercises that she's not done before, and she's feeling strong and can see that there's potential and lots of room for improvement. And the other really big positive of this client getting back into regular exercise is she's due on her period, and she's really surprised at the amount of energy she feels compared to in the past. As she says, she felt like a wet lettuce at this point of her cycle. So exercise, and the right dose of exercise, can really enhance your energy levels and actually improve the way, well, it does improve the way you feel. So this is music to my ears. Now, Ellie has had some really great wins this week. She's had prepared food and eaten food in line with her goal, which is weight loss. She's went to her boxing class, even though she didn't really want to. She stayed accountable to it, which is really great. And the biggest win for Ellie this week is when she recognized that the plans that she'd made had to change. And instead of just giving up on everything, which often is the case when something gets in the way of, say, you going out for that walk, or you doing your workout, or you making, eating the food that you had pre-prepared, a curveball is thrown and it throws your plan out, no matter what it is. It can often lead to you just thinking, sod it, I'll just give up on all the other things that I was supposed to do, because what's the point? And actually, there is a lot of point to just carry on and do the best you can, dependent on the situation that you're in, rather than give up on everything. And this is exactly what Ellie did, which is fantastic. So well done. The other great win that Ellie has is that this week her intention was to increase her steps and get back into the routine of getting out for a daily walk. I recommend clients go out for a daily walk, because getting out in daylight, ideally, is going to help you get vitamin D. And also moving your body from walking is a great form of exercise. It's not a poor relative to running. Walking is one of the best things that you can do to your body. And walking also supports your weight loss goal by increasing your expenditure. But the benefits of walking far outweigh that. You will improve your mental well-being, you will improve your productivity, you will feel better, and you will reduce any stress. So it's really great. Now, there was one day that Ellie wasn't able to, she had quite very low step count, but actually across the week, her average steps were in her range target, which is really positive, which is why doing what you can when you can is always going to pay off. So well done. Now, I've shared some wins with you. I also want to talk about some challenges. And I've just talked about steps because my next client, her intent was also to increase her movement through walking and also getting into the gym. She had annual leave, so was looking forward to spending her week of annual leave really getting into a routine of those walks and workouts. And unfortunately, it didn't materialize because she had to end up working due to work issues. Now, she also goes on to say that if ultimately, if she didn't do her job, then it would create feelings of overwhelm and impact her negatively, but also recognizes it's the importance about finding balance. Now, as part of coaching, my clients use a coaching app and I can see lots of data. And as part of the coaching app, I can see the amount of steps my clients take. Now, this particular client, some days her steps were as low as 2,000, some days lower than 2,000. There were a lot of days where they were less than 5,000. And what I would sort of say is, I obviously don't know about your work and the impact it has on your time. But what I do know is that if you don't look after your health, you're not going to be good for anyone. You're at risk of burnout and fatigue, and your productivity and work efficiency is most likely going to reduce from, not looking after your own health. To maintain a good level of health, you don't want to be letting your steps drop below like a really low minimum of 5,000. I usually like to say to my clients as a general, depending where they're at in their steps, to try and aim for a minimum of 7,000 for general health. And there's a big difference between 2,000 and 7,000 when it comes to the impact on your health. Going from 7 to 10, there's not a massive impact of going 7 to 10, but there is a huge impact and a huge benefit from going 2 to 5 and 5 to 7. And so in order to look after yourself and increase your work productivity and efficiency, it is really important to find that time to move your body or prioritize the time. Set boundaries with your work and with yourself, because it is really important. You are good to no one if you don't have your health and your mental well-being. So set some clear boundaries. Trying to find a better work-life synergy is going to be really important. A lot of people call it balance, and it is balance, but I like to use synergy, because some weeks we may have to do more of one than the other, but you also don't want to drop below a minimum standard within yourself to support your physical health and your mental and emotional well-being. So allocate some time, plan it into your diary, set those boundaries, get yourself out. Doesn't need to be a long walk. Any movement at all is going to be really, really beneficial. I can't emphasize that enough. And if you're listening to this and your steps are really low, really try and incorporate that daily walk. Now, I have a client, her challenges is the weekends. She wants to be more spontaneous. So she has a lot more consistency, repeating the same meals during the week, but wants to be a bit more spontaneous at the weekends. Now, what I want to say about weekends is often when people embark on a weight loss goal, they are, in inverted commas, good all week, and then their weekends go tits up. And all their hard work and effort from during the week kind of gets cancelled out because they end up eating far too many calories that ends up taking them out of the deficit that they created during the week to lose weight. And they end up like either maintaining their weight or even increasing their weight because they end up eating more. So when you're working towards a goal, especially in the initial stages, we're only on week 1 of the coaching program, to have spontaneity at the weekend, I actually wouldn't recommend, because it is really important to have some kind of plan, even at the weekend. It's going to look different to your weekdays. We know that. But having a plan for both Saturday and Sunday, and looking at what you've got on, what your commitments are, what your family commitments are, what you've got to do, and creating a plan. Even if it changes, you need some kind of plan. If you want to be spontaneous or leave things to chance, it is probably going to lead to things going a little bit pear-shaped, because not committing to a plan is you giving yourself an allowance to say, well, we don't have a plan, but if you kind of stick to the plan, great. But if you don't want to, then it's okay, because we didn't really have a plan. And you don't want to leave yourself that leeway to not stick to a plan, even if that plan changes. Especially if your goal is weight loss and you want to achieve this goal. And I know this client is dead set on achieving her goal. What I would recommend is, like I say, creating that plan. Saturday and Sunday might look different, and they may look different every weekend, depending what you've got on socially, depending what, the kids have got arranged, where you need to be, whether it's going to be a more laid back weekend and you're relaxing and you're at home more, or whether you're out and about more. It's going to look different. But you do need a plan. But perhaps there's one meal over the weekend that you want to have a bit more flexibility with. And you can make that work within your goal. So think about identifying one meal where, you might be going out, or you might just be enjoying a meal at home. What meal, how do you want to be more flexible? I always encourage clients not to be cutting out favorite foods, because all it does is build up cravings for that food, and then eventually you'll cave in and you'll likely overeat on it. So if there is something that you're wanting to include, make it work and incorporate it into your day. My clients have a calorie range target, which means it's not a definitive number. It can go a little lower and it can go a little higher. So it does allow flexibility. Remember, sometimes choosing what you want over what you think you should have also helps increase your satisfaction and reduces the likelihood of you then seeking out food later in the evening. So think about what it is that you want and what you can control with the food that you really fancy. So if there's a particular meal or food type that you may not have been eating, try and incorporate it. It doesn't need to be a weekend either to incorporate it. And think about what you can control. Factors like the portion size, compromising on some of the indulgences. If you're going out, do you need to have, can you compromise? Is it a starter or the dessert or the glass of wine? Pick one. Which one is it that you really, really want, and let the others go? So thinking about compromising, noticing your level of fullness and stopping, not eating past fullness, and allowing yourself to leave food on your plate when you reach that point. Okay, so another challenge. Okay, now this is really interesting because this client has coached with me before, and her batteries have gone on her scales, her food weighing scales. And I do get some clients to weigh their food because it enables us to better manage their food intake and create more accuracy. Because sometimes, well, not sometimes, I know that with eyeballing, it gets distorted over time and your portion sizes are likely going to get bigger. And often, unbeknown to you and not consciously, you're wondering why you're not losing weight. And that's because your portion sizes are getting bigger and therefore you're eating more calories and therefore you're not in a deficit. Now, for this client, her scales need new batteries. So go and get new batteries. But real positive is that she's been having her same breakfast and lunch that she has built consistency with from previous. She knows the calorie and protein content of those meals. So whether she tracks them or not, doesn't really matter because she's been a bit inconsistent with her tracking. Just try and remember the importance of weighing for food, for portion size. But this is where the benefit of having consistent breakfasts and lunch lie, is that you know roughly what those calories are because you have it every day and you've tracked it previously. So although she wasn't able to track, actually, she's familiar with the foods that she was eating. So I don't see that as a challenge. I think that's a really positive, actually. Now, she hasn't done any home workouts this week. And her reason for not doing the workouts is that she wants to ease back into the coaching process, focus on one thing at a time. And I actually think this is a really good idea. Some clients are able to jump in with 2 feet, and other clients need to step in cautiously. And this is all about working at the client's pace. I don't have any expectations. I don't set the pace that they should be making progress. Everyone is different. And this is the benefit of having one-to-one coaching. Now, I want to talk about evening snacking because this has come up in a couple of the check-ins. And it is very common, and it's probably in coaching one of the biggest challenges most of my clients have encountered, is evening snacking. Now, there can be a number of reasons why evening snacking happens. And if it's something that you struggle with and you're listening to this, I'm going to feed back to my clients and I'm going to generalize it because the feedback has come from more than one client. One of my clients has recognized that her snacking is due to boredom as opposed to hunger. And this is really important because one of the things that I always get clients to do is when they are snacking in the evening is to ask themselves, is it physical hunger? I.e., are you actually really hungry? Are you craving chicken and veg, or are you craving something specific? Usually, chocolate, crisps, biscuits. That usually determines that it's an emotional or a hormonal hunger. But are you physically or emotionally hungry? And this is the first question you want to ask yourself when you feel those stirrings to get up and go and get something. Is it physical or emotional hunger? If it's physical hunger, prepare yourself something nutritious to eat and fill that gap and enjoy it. If it's emotional hunger, what is it that you're feeling? Name the feeling. So for one of my clients, she recognizes it was boredom. Acknowledge it. Recognize that you are bored. And then ask yourself, what would make me feel less bored? And this is a really important question, because will eating whatever it is that you're reaching for going to reduce your feelings of boredom, or is it just a distraction to stop you feeling bored, and you're still going to be bored once you've finished eating it, except you've consumed another few hundred calories? So what would help you feel less bored? Are you not interested in the TV program that you're watching? Or are you just bored being downstairs? Could you read a book? Could you go off and do something? Depending on the time this is all happening, usually happens in the evening. Is it time to just go up to bed? What is it that would help you feel less bored? Some clients that I coach, I get them to create a self-soothe list. Might be that they write things on this list that would help them manage their emotions. It could be adult coloring, do a jigsaw puzzle, read a book, go and have a bath, go out for a 10-minute walk, leave the room, do some deep breathing, do some movement, a little bit of stretching, mobility, go to bed. What is it that you need? And write yourself a list of other coping mechanisms that is outside of food. Now, food is, food does comfort us and soothe us, but we don't want to turn to it every single time. If you can try and implement a pause whereby you say to yourself, I'm going to do something from my self-soothe list, or I'm going to distract myself, and if I still want something in 10, 15 minutes time, I'm going to have it. The chances are the craving will reduce. It often does, and it will pass. So creating that pause is really beneficial. You can also sit with the discomfort of knowing you want something, knowing that it doesn't align with your goals, knowing that you're not physically hungry, it's an emotional hunger, and sit with it. It's uncomfortable, but sit with it and don't act on it. It takes a bit of practice, but it is possible. And the more you practice it, the more you'll be able to get better at it. And think about that self-soothe list, or just go to bed. Often it's tiredness, boredom, frustration, maybe even a little bit of anxiety. So whatever it is for you, think about it. Now, another question one of my clients has asked me is about self-sabotage, because she finds that she can self-sabotage, has experienced a couple of episodes this week where she's self-sabotaged, and she's been doing really well, and asks me why this happens. Now, again, it's very personalized and very individual, but I often find, and I think for this client, it comes down to lack of self-belief. And I've had that with a couple of my other coaching clients this week as well, is they do really well, and then all of a sudden they do something that's just so out of line with what they're normally doing day to day. And it's usually when they start to make progress and they see the scales lowering. And as much as that is their goal, losing weight and reducing body fat is their goal, when you've been overweight and you've been carrying, more body fat than you feel comfortable with, and all of a sudden you start to see some changes, it can feel so scary, and it can send you into a panic. And that panic usually leads to you self-sabotaging. Now, this isn't for everybody, but for some people, I see it. I've seen it before. And what tends to happen, the reason why it sends clients into a panic, is because they see that they have the ability to make progress. And then these thoughts enter their mind of, oh my God, can I continue to make that progress? What if I fail? What if I can't do this? What if? And it sends them into a panic. They fear failure and then think, oh my God, actually, I feel safer where I am in the body that I'm in, because it's what I know, and I feel panicked. And what I would say is that, yes, it might feel safer to stay where you are, but you don't want to stay where you are. That's why you're in coaching. That's why you set yourself a weight loss goal. Remind yourself of your reason why. I talk about the reason why you want to lose weight a lot. I've done that in previous podcasts. You need to have a strong reason why and really dig deep into that reason why. It's not just enough to say, oh, I want to lose weight because I want to look good in my clothes. Yes, that is a reason, but it's not the deeper reason. What's the real reason that you want to lose weight? Think about it. and, you know, challenge your lack of self-belief. Why do you have these beliefs? Where did they stem from? Where's the evidence to support them? Especially when you're beginning to make progress, like both of these clients have this week. Challenge it, journal about it. Now, positive feedback to end this podcast episode. The camaraderie of the group, whether it's by the group chat or just seeing the achievements, whether it's through the app or on social media, is very encouraging. And it is. When you surround yourself with people who are taking positive action, it helps you do the same. So it's a very, very supportive environment to be in. You've got my support and the other ladies. It's very positive. And this client has said that she's enjoying everything about coaching. And the support and the advice in the chat is really reminding me and helping me keep on track towards my goals, which is great. And this last feedback that I'm going to end the podcast on, my client has said that she is feeling more a sense of freedom about her life and her future self. And this really represents that coaching benefits all areas of your life. It's not just about weight loss. It's not just about exercise. Yes, we encompass those things. And yes, those things contribute to your self-confidence, to your increase of self-belief, not lack, increase of self-belief. And feeling more in control, feeling more empowered really does help you feel a sense of freedom and help you believe that there is a positive future, just like this client. Such a strong message. If you are interested in coaching, you can contact me through the show notes. There's a coaching application form. And like I said at the beginning of this podcast, feel free to contact me, ask me questions. If there's anything I can do to help, please do reach out. Share me with your friends, follow, subscribe, etc. And I'll catch up with you on the next one.